So hey guys, I'm back with Todd, the geek.
Yeah, that is me, Toddthe206geek. What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about very, 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 very controversial thing. The Disney trilogy. I'm calling it the Disney trilogy. People call it the sequel trilogy, but it does not deserve that name. It was followed by Disney. It was made by Disney. It was made purposely for the benefactor of Disney.
Well, I mean, they did buy Lucasfilm for, what was it, $4.8 billion with a B dollars, so they can do what they want with it.
And guess what? A lot of people think that George Lucas, they probably hate him because they allowed him to ruin the franchise. But actually, did you know that George Lucas actually used all that money to give away to the poor? Look it up, it's true.
He gave away $4.8 billion. I seriously doubt he gave away all of it.
$4.8 billion, some of the money.
Okay. I was going to say, that's a lot of money to give away. There's not enough time in his life to spend all that money.
Yeah, that's why he would give it away to the poor.
Yeah. But I don't know. I personally don't believe that. I don't think Disney ruined Star Wars. I think they've improved on Star Wars. I'm one of those people that didn't like the prequels. I thought the prequels were they could have been anything other than Star Wars, and it would have been just fine. But the fact that they put the Star Wars name on it, and they had a couple of key characters from the original trilogy, it was okay. I mean, they're fine by themselves, but if you compare them to the rest of the movies and the rest of the canon, they're not that great.
Well, I'm the complete opposite. I think that the Disney trilogy doesn't even have the creator on it, and they were given the guidelines and threw that away. You might think this is a good thing, but really, I think that's what brought it down. This is George Lucas's baby. This is George Lucas's franchise.
But George Lucas couldn't finish the project because he kept noodling with it. He finished making the original trilogy. The last one was released in 1983. He continued to screw with those movies for the following 2 decades.
Okay, now this is turning to a fight. But here's the thing. He waited 15 years. 15 years to get his passion project out. And I think it has all the imagination that Star Wars needed. It had new worlds. It had more exciting places. It had more imagination. Do you lack imagination?
Do I lack imagination? Wow. I don't know if there's more imagination in those movies. Honestly, I think he threw more money at it. That's what he did. He didn't add anything new. He just added new special effects, which weren't. Honestly, yes, they were new. They were new and shiny. That was the benefit of the new special effects. There was a lot of people who didn't like the CGI, Yoda. They thought that Yoda should have stayed a puppet. A physical.
Well, guess what? They did actually try to puppet, and he looked terrible.
Not as terrible as the CGI.
Oh, I beg to differ. And I grew up with the prequels. And let's just state the fact that he grew up with the original trilogy, and I grew up with the prequels.
This is true. Yes, I grew up with the original trilogy, and you grew up with the prequels. So that's why it's near and dear to you, because when you were a kid, those movies were out. And when the original trilogy was out, I was a kid. So.
Okay, so before we get into the Disney trilogy, I want to say something. When I was a little kid, I thought the prequels were better than the original trilogy because I thought that it had more imagination. I thought it had more cool stuff in it. I loved it. And he grew up with the original trilogy, and he thought that there was still, but I feel like it was limited with what they could do back then. It was limited. But back in 2000s, they were more advanced, more like they could go out to more reach, go reach beyond more reaches.
Oh. Well, I don't think that the prequels had more imagination. I think they added a bunch of new people, new characters. I really didn't like the Clone Wars movie. Of those three, I thought the strongest of the three was the third one. Revenge of the Sith.
Of course, that's what everyone says.
Well, that's true. It's the strongest of the three. I mean, in the first two, Anakin is just a whiny little kid who just is constantly whining about how horrible his life is and how he misses his mommy and all this other stuff. It's like, okay.
Dude, his mother was killed by a bunch of savages.
His mother was not killed by the savages. They didn't feed her. There's a difference. They didn't kill her. They starved her to death, but they didn't kill her. He, however, killed the entire tribe of Sand People, all the kids as well as the women and the men. So who's really the bad guy there?
Dude, these are savages. They literally come and raid and pillage people.
Okay, so that excuses him killing everyone?
He's gonna become Darth Vader. Do you realize that?
Yes! Dude, I knew that long before you were ever born.
I know, but I'm just saying this is a bit foreshadowing. And also the reason that Padme didn't freak out and because she knew him for a long time.
Foreshadowing nothing. We knew that he was going to be Darth Vader. That's kind of the point of the prequels, is to kind of show the backstory. We all knew he was Vader before those movies even came out, so there's no foreshadowing there. We knew that he was going to do evil shit from the very beginning.
But here's the thing. It's kind of him growing towards the dark side more. This is his first time imbuing himself in the dark side.
True.
So this is him starting on that path.
So we have somebody else in here too. We're talking about which Star Wars trilogy is the best one, and I still maintain that the original trilogy is the best, and the most recent trilogy is better than the prequels. And he disagrees with me.
I'm sorry. I state that the original trilogy, I changed a bit. I'm saying that the prequels. I'm a prequel defender. I'm saying that really the Clone Wars is probably the best out of Star Wars. You have to see it to believe it, and I'll show you one day the entirety of it so you can believe it. And then, so I feel that the prequels. Dude, a lot of people would agree with me.
Well, a lot of people watch the Clone Wars series. I watched a handful of episodes. It was okay. It's not a series that I intend to spend a lot of time watching, because I've watched a handful of episodes. The episodes were all right. They were good for what they were. They weren't engaging me enough for me to want to go back and watch all of it. If I was to say my favorite Star Wars series, animated series, it would have to be Rebels. Rebels is the best.
Rebels? That's very interesting.
Yeah, Rebels is awesome.
Okay, I guess we differ. We both differ. But here's the thing: you can watch the Clone Wars in bite-sized pieces. That's the best part about it.
Well, I mean, that's the way episodes work. Yeah, I mean, but like I said,
no, you can watch it in anthology style. You can watch it out of order, and the story will still be as good. And if you've seen the finale of that show, I watched the last season because that was all over, Disney Plus. Hey, watch the final season of the Clone Wars. I watched it. It was okay. It wasn't. I don't think it was as good as Rebels. Rebels, I thought had a better story. Yeah, an unpopular opinion here. Wow.
No, I think it's a fairly popular opinion. No, Rebels, I thought was a better show. It had a better storyline, better characters. More likable characters.
Dude. You don't believe that if you see the Clone Wars fan base, it's a lot.
Yeah, just because there's a lot of fans for something doesn't mean it's better. It just means they have a bigger fan base.
Imagine all those people would probably so strongly disagree with you.
Yeah, probably. I'm also one of those people that think that Firefly is terrible and Mandalorian is a much better show.
Okay, can we get to the Disney trilogy? What we were talking about?
Sure, I think.
Got a little off track.
I see. Now, earlier we were talking through chat. You were saying how of those three, the second one, was it
Last Jedi?
The Last Jedi? Thank you. It's not the strongest movie. Now, keep in mind, and most people don't realize this, the reason why those movies feel like they're cut and pasted together is because they are. The reason why is because Carrie Fisher died. And the original story that they were going to tell could not be told without Carrie Fisher in it. So they
This was after The Force Awakens.
She died during, I think, the Last Jedi, or right before it was released.
Yes.
So what they did was they used all the footage that they didn't use from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi to put her in the third movie.
I get it. But here's the thing. I think the whole thing, from beginning to end of the Disney trilogy, is a mess. Don't you get Return of the Jedi? Next movie, at the beginning of it, without the Jedi, there can be no balance in the Force. Seriously. I was expecting the Return of the Jedi. When I first went into this movie, I was expecting the new Jedi Order, the New Republic. And then what I got was just the Resistance, the Discount Rebels.
Discount Rebels.
And then
keep in mind, there's also like there's like a 40 years difference between the Return of the Jedi and the Force Awakens.
Just because you do the same thing in a different era does not mean we're still not doing the same thing.
What? Can you say that slower so it makes sense?
Sorry. Just because you're doing the same thing in a different era does not mean we're still not doing the same thing.
Okay. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why I like The Force Awakens, because it reminded me of Star Wars, the original movie.
But here's the thing. I don't want it to remind me of Star Wars. I want it to be something new.
You know
something
what?
Different.
This is the other thing that people fail to remember, is that Star Wars as a whole, all of the movies, all of the canon, is for kids.
True.
When I was 8 years old, I did not care that Luke Skywalker kissed his sister. Didn't care whatsoever. As an adult, it kind of weirds me out. But as a kid, I did not care. I was like, okay, they kissed. That's kind of gross because it's a kiss. Not because they're siblings. You know, I was 8. 8-year-olds don't give two shits about a story like that. They don't. So that's the primary audience for Star Wars. Most people don't seem to realize that.
Lucas said that. I get it. But do you realize how many... I saw earlier a grown man had stickers on his car of Darth Vader and Boba Fett on his car.
So?
He loves Star Wars.
So?
And you realize us grown men are talking about Star Wars. If it really was for 8-year-olds, we wouldn't be talking about it. We think it's shit. We think it's for little kids.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. The people who made the movies made them for kids. They did. I mean, yeah, adults can watch it too, and adults can enjoy it if they choose to. You know, when you go back and watch something you loved when you're 8 years old, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be nearly as great as you remember it. The only reason why you still like it is because of the memories it brings back from when you were 8. Not because it's a good show or a good story or great acting. None of that.
What makes it good to begin with? What makes it... Why do people like it so much? What makes it
because
work
it's
so much?
Because it's entertainment. It's fun to watch.
Most moviegoers don't care.
Well, I want stories to be more than entertainment. I want them to engage me. I want it to be actually feel like I'm in the story. I want to try with these characters. I want to feel with them.
Okay, well then that's when you become a creator yourself and create your own version of those stories.
That's what I'm doing. Actually, I made my own story, and I'm going to one day post it to the whole world.
Cool. Yeah, I mean that's what I tell people. The people who are seriously like amped up about like how the big thing that people complained about. I was like, come on, dude, just fucking watch the movie and enjoy it. You don't need to pick apart a movie because it doesn't currently make sense to you. A lot of things became Oh, a lot of things were revealed in the third movie as to why the things in the first and second movie happened, and there was no explanation for them. But if you watched the third one, it explains all of those things. And people still complained. Because
here's the thing.
because number one, because Luke Skywalker wasn't in the movie that much. People bitched about that. It wasn't, the movies weren't about Luke. They were about Rey.
No. It's focused on Rey. It's the character.
Right. So she's
Is Darth Vader on here?
she's the next generation of Jedi, the new generation of Jedi. And and when
the MCU.
yeah.
But then
Yeah.
I know it's not about Luke,
America.
but you know what would make it better if they didn't get rid of the new Jedi Order? If she was in the new Jedi Order and if she was a Padawan in there, wouldn't that be better?
Not necessarily. I liked the way it was. I mean, she's going to start the next Jedi Order if they continue that storyline. Huh?
Is that what Luke Skywalker was supposed to do? The last of the Jedi you are?
Yeah, he tried. I mean, if
But
you
you're
remember
not-
watching the movie,
you
he
build it
tried, and he gave up because his nephew turned on him.
But let me get this straight. So, you promised us, George Lucas promised us the Return of the Jedi, and then he went back on his word. It's like that. You go back on your word.
It had nothing to do with George. At that point, he no longer
I
had
know.
control over it.
Disney. I know. It's not.
So
it's
you're-
like that. But
George Lucas has also been known for decades now. Like, even before you were born. It was decades for, like, promising us another trilogy, more movies. And because of the fandom of Star Wars, everyone, the people like myself who didn't like the special editions, who thought that, leave them alone, they're great the way they are, don't add shit, don't change shit, leave them the way they are, and put them out on the new format. He didn't do that. He goes, oh yeah, I'm gonna fix this one bit right here. I'm gonna make it so that Han Solo's not a bastard and he shot the guy first. I'm gonna make the other guy shoot first. That he's replying to it. No, Han shot the guy because he was going to be shot by the other guy, and he shot him before the other guy had a chance to shoot him. And Han Solo wasn't a good guy at the beginning of that movie. He wasn't even a good guy at the end of that movie. He didn't become a good guy till the second or third movie. He was there for the money.
The medal after you get the medal.
He was there for the money. That was the only reason why Han Solo was in the rebellion.
He came back and saved Luke from being killed by Darth Vader.
Right. At the very end. Before that, he cared, but he didn't care enough to stick around because he needed to take care of his shit first. He was there for the money. So he wasn't a good guy. He was there for the cash. And at the end, he goes, well, maybe I should help out this kid. He's a nice kid. It wasn't. Yeah. I mean, even in The Force Awakens, he's kind of a bitter old asshole.
Let's say one thing.
Yep.
Aren't you glad that they didn't change, that George Lucas didn't change that part and add tweaks about, maybe I should go back and save Luke? No, he left it in that he just saved Luke and without even saying it.
I don't know, dude. I just think people take the fandom of Star Wars entirely too serious.
Well, I'm starting to get off of Star Wars. I'm just saying this as my last goodbye.
Okay. You don't have to stay a fan. That's fine.
I'm not staying a fan. I'm not.
That's fine.
The Clone Wars was my final goodbye.
That's fine. The Bad Batch is pretty damn good. And that's kind of a sequel to
Wow, Clone Wars that you actually like.
It's not the Clone Wars, though.
But it's a sequel to the Clone Wars. And
Right,
has clones
but it's yeah, okay, but it's not the Clone Wars. It's different.
I know it's not.
It's different. It's not the same story. It's not the same group of people.
It has
Focus on the clone.
group of, actually Echo is in there. Echo is from the Clone Wars.
Okay.
And Bad Batch was introduced in the Clone Wars.
In the final season, which I did watch, yeah.
Yes.
But beyond that, the only thing that got me to watch the Clone Wars was the return of Darth Maul and his stupid older brother. I thought that was kind of dumb. Savage.
oppress. I know, but it doesn't really matter. They kill him off. Okay.
He's a stupid character, and I hated the name. It was like they apparently George Lucas wanted to call him Savage, but his daughter is like, "No, Daddy, you should call him Savage because that sounds cooler." No, it doesn't.
What?
It sounds
I don't
pretentious.
get-
It sounds pretentious as fuck, is what it sounds.
You know what boggles my fucking mind? It's just that George Lucas. I don't. When I watch the Clone Wars, I don't feel like it's a kid show. Or when I do watch the Clone Wars, sometimes it does feel like a kid show. It's kind of confusing. It's kind of like I'm watching The Hunchback of Notre Dame, except the difference is you can choose. It's actually the benefits where you actually choose which episode, all the good stuff that you like.
Yeah, and yeah, they a good animated show will have layers. And the majority of it will be for little kids. It'll be for 8-year-olds and older. And then there's layers in there for the adults because, they're having to watch it with their kids. And they're like, oh, God, I have to watch this again.
Dude,
they put in little jokes. They put in little jokes. They put in little things for the adults to get and laugh at.
Like Babbitt Image.
No, it's not. It's politics. There's literally the word indictment and formality in there that children would not understand.
Yeah. Of course. That's one of the reasons why I don't really care for the Clone Wars is because of all the political stuff that's in there. I don't give two craps about politics. I'm not going to watch a TV show based on politics. It's not.
It's a political thriller.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch a live action thing about that, and that's probably another reason why I didn't like the prequels because it was all about politics. It was all about the balance of power between the Palpatine and the rest of everybody. No.
And the Jedi.
Well, it's kind of like the rise of Julius Caesar or the rise of Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, kind of.
That's the whole point of it. That's the whole point.
So, what? I'm sorry. What's the other guy's name that's in here?
It's Ryan.
Ryan. So what do you think of the trilogies? Which trilogy in Star Wars is your favorite?
I'm sorry, I can't see
the
the
ones
screen.
I grew up with first.
The original trilogy.
I grew up with the sequels.
Oh, the prequels.
No, I grew up with the prequels. Yeah.
Okay.
The only one I saw was Episode 3, though.
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing those in theaters. I remember seeing the re-release of the original trilogy in the late 90s. And
I have one question. How excited were you when you went to see Phantom Menace?
Who, me or him?
Yes.
Me? You know what? By the time I saw the first two, I was like, all right, this has got to be better than the last two. That's how I felt. Because we're fine.
When you first got into the movie,
I was like, all right, when am I going to see Darth Vader? I want to see Darth Vader. They better do it right. I was just like, I was, the story was, the whole love story with Anakin and Padme was, I didn't care for it. It was like, okay, I don't need that. We don't need to see that. Just like we don't need to see, like, every time fucking Uncle Ben gets shot. We don't need that. It's there because it's part of the story, but we don't need to see it.
Thank God they removed that.
Yeah, right. They could have mentioned it in passing, like, okay, yeah, they hooked up when she was like 25 and he was 19. Okay, and they could have mentioned it in passing and showed like a short sequence of like a flashback. They didn't need to have this entire fucking stupid ass love story that. And he was essentially an incel who was like, I love you and I want to be with you, but they won't let me. Yeah.
But what do you think of Order 66?
I wasn't really surprised by that, to be honest.
No. Why do you, was it like when they literally slaughtered all these children and all these people? Like, I know you don't feel emotions about them, but seriously, showing this imagery of dead children, like, in what you think is a children's?
The killing of the younglings was a bit much. That was like, oh shit. But the the fact that he had like the clones pre-programmed to kill every Jedi, I wasn't at all shocked by that. I was shocked that he killed the younglings. I was not expecting that.
Well, good you got one shot, Andy. One shot.
No, the other thing, the thing that people don't realize is like the original trilogy, when the first movie came out, it wasn't called Episode 4. It wasn't called A New Hope. It was just Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that or don't care. And for me, it will always be Star Wars. I will never call it A New Hope because I don't.
Okay. So let me get this straight. You would rather carbon copy of the original trilogy or something completely different?
It wasn't a carbon copy. I mean, there were some similarities for sure. Yeah, I mean, there was like the young protagonist from a desert planet goes into space. You know,
goes up a giant ball and then another evil empire again, and also basically the same conflict as the last trilogy.
Flies in his in a busted up old spaceship with a 8-foot tall dog, and yeah, no, I liked it. That for me because you guys don't remember the original trilogy for what they were. You guys probably saw them on TV. You never saw them in theaters. I did. That's probably the biggest difference.
On with someone on YouTube about the original trilogy stuff. My God, so much better.
Yeah, but when in the Force Awakens, I will tell you, I cried when Han and Chewbacca first walked onto the Millennium Falcon for the first time, because it was 40 years since I saw those two on that ship. I got a little emotional when I saw the Millennium Falcon because it's like my favorite ship in the Star Wars universe. But when I saw them walk on and he says, "Chewie, we're home," I ugly cried. I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" Ship. But yeah, I cried.
When I first saw the Force Awakens, I was excited. I really enjoyed it. I really had a fun time. I was 13 at the time, but when The Last Jedi came around, I was like. My friends are like, "Yeah, this sucks." And I was like, "No, it doesn't suck. It doesn't suck." And then I was like, "Oh my God, does this suck?" And then when The Rise of Skywalker came out, it hit me. It hit me like a fucking thunderbolt. And I thought this sucked so hard.
The second of the 3 new movies was a bit rough. It wasn't great. And the only reason why I'm okay with it is because I tell myself that they basically had to cut and paste the movie together in such a way that it will make sense later when they finish the 3rd movie. Because Carrie died, they had to redo a bunch of scenes and line it up so that we can see Carrie later in the 3rd movie.
I'm going to say one thing about my story. I'm going to make it adult, okay? I'm going to make it like Star Wars, but adult, for adult viewers.
Cool.
And I hope that you guys like it when you see it.
Yeah, probably. Here's another thing. You guys all watched The Rise of Skywalker, yeah?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I told you
now, did you catch that when Ben came back and he was Ben and he was no longer Kylo Ren? That wasn't actually Ben. That was Leia.
What?
Think about it.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
When Leia dies, Ben disappeared.
What?
I just blew your mind, didn't I? Now you need to rewatch the movie.
I will not rewatch that movie as long as I live. I don't care how interesting that is. I don't care.
Dude, let me tell you. And that also explains the weird smile that Ben had when she kissed him. Like that's the giggle of a mother who's laughing that 2 of her kids or adopted child and her actual son were kissing.
Wait, are they actually related or not?
They're not.
Because
They're not.
That Palpatine is her granddaughter. Is her grandfather.
Yeah, no, she is not related to Ben whatsoever. But
That what should have happened. Ben should have been related to Rey. They both should have been related.
no, I think it was better that way. That you're talking about the original like extended universe, which is no longer canon. In those books, Leia and Han had twins. One was called.
I really like that. And Darth Titus was a better strategist and wasn't a whiny brat. Like, was a better strategist than a Sith Lord, a Darth Titus.
Yeah.
And actually was cool.
I don't know. I've never read those books. I only watched.
I heard about what he's done, and I think I want to read it more, but I haven't got the chance to.
Well, you could probably find those books on eBay now. They'll probably cost you a small fortune because
I already have the book, but I
out
haven't
of
got
print.
the time to read that.
But
I heard how cool he is. He's almost as cool as Darth Revan. I loved Revan so much. I loved the Old Republic, and I loved Revan. He was like he made Darth Vader look like a punk bitch.
I actually legitimately, after I saw the Rise of Skywalker in theaters, I went home and found a bootleg of it and watched it like 6 more times. Because I was like, there was so many things happening in that movie. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any fucking thing. And that's when I caught that Ben wasn't really Ben at the end. That was Leia pretending to be him to help Rey. Because Ben died.
Why she help Rey when she's not even related to her?
Because dude, you seriously didn't watch. You seriously didn't watch the movie, because in that movie, they tell you that Leia was Rey's Jedi Master. Rey was Leia's Padawan. So why
CGI Luke and CGI Leia?
Okay, so the story is that Leia was teaching Rey. She's the master, Rey's the Padawan. So why wouldn't she go to try to save her Padawan?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when they were kissing.
Okay, what about them kissing?
No, I just thought that that's what we're talking about. I misunderstood.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like when Ben came back. He died and he climbed out of that cavern to help save her at the end from Palpatine.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
So, and then that's when they had their little moment and they were talking, and then like Rey kisses him and he giggles like, huh, okay, and it was.
That means Leia kissed Rey?
No, Rey kissed who she thought was Ben, which was actually Leia. That's why she laughed, because Rey didn't know that she was kissing Leia.
What? That's ridiculous.
That's what happened.
I don't care. That's ridiculous. That makes it. Dude.
I mean, if you think about it too much, it is kind of gross. But don't think about it too much. And that's the way it happened.
Leia on steroids, except with another female who's 6 years younger than her.
That wasn't the point. And in fact, Ben wasn't kissing her. That's the point. Rey kissed Ben. Leia as Ben was not expecting to be kissed. It wasn't like that intended to happen. Rey did it as a, oh my God, you saved me, thank you, and kissed him.
That was a love kiss. They kissed each other like they were in love with each other. Like a fairy tale.
Well, if you watch the interaction between them throughout the 3 movies, there is lots of sexual tension.
True.
I know, and I feel like that first Rey's like, you're a monster. And then the second one, she's like, no, I like this guy.
I can save him. It is essentially her trying to save Ben is the same as Luke trying to save his dad.
No, it's not.
It is. That's exactly what happened there. She was trying to save him. She was trying to get him to go back to the light. That was her intent.
What? It ended up the same way.
Yeah, it did.
So it's just the same thing all over again, and it's repetitive.
It's not exactly the same. I mean, there's some similarities there for sure, but it's not exactly the same.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. If it was exactly the same, it would be a younger version of Luke. It wouldn't be Rey. It would be, You know, the story would be if the story was exactly the same, it would be the same setup, the same number of characters, the same genders of people.
It doesn't matter. It matters about the context. It's about a young person trying to get someone else to join the light and then fails again. And then he had 2 times where he could come back to light and he failed that. So in the 3rd time he comes back.
Yeah. That's what happened with
Dude.
That's what happened with Anakin in the first 3 movies.
But dude, no. Dude, here's the thing. Anakin was turning to the dark side, and guess what? It was his path towards the dark side. And he said that he would join to save his wife's life. And then he became fully to the dark side. And then the next trilogy, it wasn't even asked in the first one. The second one is only in the 3rd one where he asked his father, let go of your hate.
No, he goes, I know what I need to do, but I don't know if I can do it. He says that.
I'm talking.
Are you talking about like the original trilogy, or are you talking about the
Yes,
Disney trilogy?
About the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy.
Okay. Well, there's definitely some similarities. There's some similarities to the original trilogy, and there's also some similarities to the prequels actually in those movies. I enjoy them. I watch them once a year at this point, and I'm never gonna stop liking them. You know, that's fine. You don't like them. That's fine. You don't have to. That's, you know, I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. You know, it's you love your anime. I don't care 2 craps about anime. Anime is, you know, it's a lot of it is, well, especially the American stuff. It's the story. They change the stories around so that the lip flaps match up, and you know, that's why you hear all the people, the subs versus dubs, and you know, and the other thing that I think one of the things that kind of turned me away from anime was the whole that argument with the subs versus dubs. And then of course there's the fact that every single anime is like some weird action adventure thing. There's always some great thing they have to go do to save somebody, and all the girls are super cutesy,
okay, let me say.
Super saccharine, like oh my god, will you shut the fuck up and go away kind of girl. But she's like, oh my god, you know, no thanks.
Okay, here's one. Attack the Titan is literally about a boy who gets his mother eaten alive and then literally wants to kill all the Titans. And by the end of the story, he wants to probably kill everyone.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that show's great.
I know of it. I've never actually watched it. I just know that there's giants with no skin.
So I feel like you're generalizing.
I am, because I don't know that much about them. I know.
I feel like if you give it a chance, you'd actually like it.
Probably not. I'm not real fond of most animes because of just, I don't know. There's just something about them that they don't hold my interest. You know, if you.
That's fine. That's fine by you.
Yeah.
Okay, should we wrap it up now or should we continue? Yeah.
It's up to you guys. I can go for as long as you want.
Okay, I think it's time for us to wrap up. Can you cut out some of the stuff, like with the background?
Wait, what?
There's some background noises. Can you cut that out?
Not really, no.
Okay, fine. Just keep it in, okay? Alright, well, see you guys later. It's this is Squid Bear signing off with my friends.
I'm Todd Sellers, Toddthe206geek.
And good debate, you know?
Yeah, it's fun.
Good, friendly debate. Even if it got a little uncivilized.
Yeah, you got a little heated there a couple times.